What's up, everybody? Kevin Wagenmaker here, Montcalm Community College Instructional Technology. I'm going to spend a few moments here going over some of the tech items that you may be familiar with, but may also be new to you if you are new here or haven't come across it or put it to use yet. I'm going to try and be as efficient as possible with our time and just kind of dive through things. If there's anything that you want to know more about, I do host dedicated EdTech dialect sessions that I'll talk more about here in a little bit. And you can always contact me. For those of you that have email is the best way to get a hold of me. So here we go. The first thing I want to focus on is what we've already accomplished. The past year and a half or so has been a doozy. But I think it's also important to look back at what we have accomplished, not just us in the IT department, but you as instructors in your classrooms and your learning environments. So let's take a look at all of these different items. First thing, we have adopted Microsoft Teams across all of our different virtual meetings. You've become more comfortable with it, setting them up, running them, recording them, sharing them out synchronously and asynchronously to your students. Kudos to you for that. We've also hosted live events so students could tune in to special events that we've had, to EdTech sessions for students, and a lot of other items as well. We have implemented a live chat on our website. If you haven't seen that yet, if your students aren't aware of it, you can always bring that up. It's right on our homepage. It can be found on the mobile app as well. I'll be sharing a QR code here at the end that you can take a look at. But that's been very helpful and a convenient way for students and external users, people that might be interested in our institution, to learn more about MCC and ask questions that they might have. Digital inking has been a big one. Going from the whiteboard space to a digital inking space, a space where we can collaborate more with students, a space that's better for reaching virtual learners. And we're going to continue to focus on the digital inking space as our primary space for sharing things that we need to ink and instead of the physical classroom whiteboards. Deploying hotspots and connectivity to both instructors and students out in our community where they might not have access to regular internet. Hotspots have been important. And going forward, we still have hotspots available. So if you have a student that has to be virtual, just make sure that you have them or yourself contact the MCC service desk, and we can get you or the students set up with a hotspot so that they can be better connected if needed. Teams calling, our phone system is now Microsoft Teams, so it kind of helps to bring in the consistency of Teams for the user. Breakout rooms, we waited on that, and finally around December of last year, breakout rooms showed up. The original functionality wasn't quite where everybody wanted it to be, but some new features have recently been released. We'll talk about those in a little bit, dealing with the ability to change up your breakout rooms, make changes in terms of who's in the breakout room during a session, and some other things as well. EdTech dialect sessions. We've rolled out, I think, 6 of them so far. There's 2 more to come in August, and I will be rolling out some for the fall as well. So if you're interested in a topic, don't hesitate to bring that to my attention. Dual enrollment technology and mobile conference carts. If you teach in a dual enrollment setting, you've seen the carts and put the carts to use for both showing the in-room students, the face-to-face students, your content, and also using the conference system, the 3-in-1 conference system that's on the cart to send that out to your students. Installation of permanent Logitech conference systems. Every single learning environment has a conference system in it that wakes up right when you start the meeting. And those have been very easy to use for most users. And we've been very happy with those and looking forward to continuing to put those to use. Just quickly, mobile device use for teaching and learning, using it to communicate, collaborate, bring together both instructors and students into a space. Microsoft Surface Pro deployment for instructor needs. Anybody that's wanted a Surface Pro from an adjunct to a full-time faculty has been able to obtain one and put it to use, and we can definitely support you if you haven't used one and you'd like to use one. Microsoft Bookings, this is something I'll talk about, but it allows easy scheduling for office hours, lab scheduling if you need to have students sign up for an exam slot. This is something that you can put to use as well. It can be easily embedded into your Teams environment or your Canvas. Expanded Wi-Fi capabilities, feedback and engagement tools and strategies for adoption, things like Nearpod. software like that, other ways of meeting your students where they are to increase engagement. We've had ed tech dialect sessions where instructors would talk about some stumbling points and some success points and share those with each other. And that has helped to increase the ability to gauge engagement and gather feedback for your different learning environments. And also adaptations in technology with work from home. A lot of you obviously have instructed from home or taken part in meetings from home. You might be sitting at home right now. And you can see that we're more efficient, we're more convenient, and we've found ways to better engage both our faculty, our adjunct faculty, and all of our different users. So out of that, I want to make sure that you understand that there's been a lot of good, obviously, listing those things, but other institutions have taken notice of what you are doing and the work that you're doing. Just in the last month, David Cohn, our new IT director, and I have been invited to share what is being done at MCC to a very broad audience, a very large audience. Little old MCC is on people's radar. We had an ETOM meetup in May, Educational Technology of Michigan meetup, and we shared our classroom setups. And lots of questions were generated from that in terms of the ease of use. People were blown away. They're like, how does the faculty, react to this? Are they okay with it? And I say that's not even a question. Our faculty have been awesome with it, and so kudos to you for being willing to adapt your learning environments, your approach to instruction. I know that it hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of work involved, but you have acclimated very well. And like I said, people are taking notice. So because of that, Schoolcraft College wanted to meet with us and understand how we're doing it, where we're doing it, why we're doing it. And then in July, we met with Wayne State University, and they want an ongoing conversation with us in terms of our setups, our rally systems, our teacher stations, what we're doing with our teacher stations moving forward. And I'll talk more about that here in a second. And then in September, CDW came calling for a what they call a CDW Tech Talk series. So we're going to be featured nationwide, if not globally, in terms of what we are doing in these classrooms and how you are putting it to use and what you're doing. So if you've got something cool that you have planned that you think is really stretching the limits or really putting good use to our learning environments, from the technology, the software, the hardware that you have available to us, leading up to that, I would love to hear more about that or what you even plan to do with our settings, because I definitely can name drop and share what you're doing and give you the kudos that you deserve for all the work that you've done. So that just summarizes, that whole list and how you've put it to use, because obviously David and I and our IT department can throw these things out there, but if you aren't willing to put it to use, if you aren't willing to do the hard work that you've done over the past year and a half, it doesn't work for us. So thank you, and I look forward to continuing to see what we can do. So looking forward, the roadmap. What do we have coming? Well, first of all, we're going to continue these EdTech dialect sessions. And I said I'm going to be planning some more for the fall and spring term. So if you have something that you really want to do a deep dive into, or you just want to learn more about it, bring that to my attention. As I mentioned, we have a new director of IT services. Very excited to continue to work with David Cohn, his innovative forward thinking for our learning environments, for our technology aspect of things, and just very excited to have David advance that role. We got the new student device purchase portal. So your students are going to be able to go to a connected CDW site and purchase laptops, Wacom tablets, whatever they might need for your learning environment. So if there's specific technology hardware that you think your students are going to need, don't hesitate to let us know. Student area conferencing, sharing systems in our different student spaces in ASH. We have 2 of them and then 2 in the library. We're going to have conference systems with 65-inch screens installed. Most of those are already installed. We're just waiting on some shelves to come in that are backordered that are going to really complete the system. So that'll allow your students, if they need to share content with other students, they don't have to huddle around a laptop or a phone. They can plug into the screen in there. If they need to video conference with somebody off campus or yourself, they can hop into one of those rooms and do that as well. So stay tuned for more on that. New device workstations for non-instructional. You may have seen those if you were walking past 303 and 305. You'll also see them up in admin, the new admin with the new carpet furniture as you cruise through there. New teacher stations. We're going to talk about that here in a second because that is a big deal. Very excited about what we have in store for those. Microsoft Teams auto generations and maintenance via Canvas. We've been asking for that. You've been waiting on that. We had something that we had planned to do on our end, but Canvas came through. Actually, Microsoft, with the help of Canvas, came through, and now Teams will be auto generated from your Canvas course, and I'll speak on that here in a second. Also on a roadmap, but not quite happening just yet, MFA for Students multi-factor authentication. They already have self-service password reset available for them. Please encourage them to use that. But we're going to be turning on multi-factor as well, just to up our layer of security for both our network, our infrastructure, and also for the students' sake. Teams rooms with wireless casting. That's going to go in with the talk about the teacher stations, but these teacher stations will also allow for wireless casting from student devices within the classroom, so they don't have to come up and hook up to the hub. But like I said, I'll talk about that more here in a second. Windows Hello for Business, passwordless entry, just trying to get away from passwords and remembering passwords and hacking passwords and all those passwords. So that is something that we have on our roadmap. Instructional technology updates with the Smith building renovation. More on that to come as we see the exciting times with our Smith building and how that's going to be updated. And then an MCC podcast meeting shortly here. We're recording this right now on July 28th. We're going to meet here in a couple days with communications department and some other members of the IT department, and we may be looking at launching an MCC podcast. So maybe you'll be asked to be a guest on it. Who knows, but stay tuned. So I've already taken up a bunch of your time, so I'm going to just breeze through these things quickly. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. But here's the basics for those of you that are brand new. The MCC login portal, to get to your account, you go to login.montcalm.edu. Once you are there, you're going to see a whole bunch of different apps. If you don't see what you need, there's always this apps page right here. It's going to bring you to a full feature of all the different web-based apps that we have available to you as an MCC user. If you ever need assistance, don't hesitate to contact the service desk at montcalm.edu. That's a good spot for, hey, if I have a question or anything, start there. It'll create a ticket, and if they need to reach me, or if it's something they can handle, they will handle it. You can also call. The number is posted there if you want to write that down. And you can also drop in. There's a location on our Greenville and our Sydney campus open during our operating hours. You can also email me, and that's the best way to get a hold of me is via email. You can call me as well, but I'm telling you, email is the way to go. We also have Canvas Tier 1 support available to all users in Canvas. So within Canvas on the global navigation bar, you just go to Help, and you will see a lot of options for support. I recommend that you use the chat with Canvas support. They're there almost immediately. They might be a little busy at the beginning of the term, but that's the best way to get in touch with somebody if you have a casual conversation or just something's not working as expected. And that works for your students as well. We also have the instructor support course available to you in Canvas on lots of different ed tech items. We also have a student support course that all students will be added to as well. I'm also willing to visit your classrooms, as I mentioned in an email the other day. Probably going to be doing a live event, so feel free to encourage your students to attend that once I have the date set for that. I don't have those dates set quite yet. A couple other items, I recommend that you do a test run. So if you need to do a Teams meeting, you have some students that are unsure of how it works, prior to the start of the term, it doesn't hurt to do a test run of a meeting just to kind of ease some concerns of students that might not have done it before, and that might be yourself as well. And I'm happy to be on hand for those meetings. If you need me to walk you through, just let me know. If you're using proctoring software in a course, Respondus Lockdown Monitor, and Browser, I recommend that you do a test quiz prior to it, or a practice quiz, and just let them download the software, get a better idea how they're going to put that to use if you're going to put it to use. If you're going to be using apps, go ahead and get those. We have the Canvas mobile teacher app. Definitely recommend that for communication. If you're using an iPad, you're going to want to use the Canvas teacher app. Just be aware that there's 3 different apps. There's a teacher app, parent app, and a student app. There's other apps like OneDrive and things like that you can get as well. And also Netiquette's very important. Keep that in mind. It's always something that's good to share with your students. I'll be following up in the coming weeks with a PDF that I have on Netiquette and just how to act in an online environment, in a virtual meeting environment, and things like that. So I mentioned the new teacher stations. There are going to be changed over in every different learning environment on both the Greenville and the Sydney campus. These are going to include, as you can see here, dual 75-inch displays. dual teacher station hubs or displays. And you also see that we are changing the teacher station. It's going to be a mobile teacher station that can raise and lower based on what you need automatically. It's also going to have a Teams room hub, so you're going to be able to schedule your meeting to a specific room, walk in the room, tap your meeting on the hub, and it will start the meeting. You won't have to log into the teacher station to start your meeting like you did before. That's very convenient if you are teaching virtually and your students are in a classroom. You can have a TA or a student even walk in and get that meeting going. Integrated inking devices will still be available. One of the big requests that we had from the Live Online year that we just had was, the students in the room can't see the students virtually. The dual screens are going to allow us to put the virtual participants up on one of the screens, and also you'll be able to share your content on the other screen. In most situations or most classrooms, the screens will be in the center of the room. The whiteboards are not going to be removed. They're just going to be moved off to the side to make the screens the focal point of the room. You will still have physical whiteboards if you prefer that. But we definitely emphasize using digital inking. I know that some of you are just not comfortable with it. That's fine. You're still going to be able to do everything that you did before with the teacher stations. But those that want to do different things are going to have that ability as well. So we're really meeting all different instructional types with these new settings. Is there going to be maybe some hiccups along the way, some learning moments and stuff like that? Yes, but we're going to be here for you to support you and try to make it as easy and smooth as possible. And so stay tuned for demo opportunities. We don't have all of these set up yet. We're still waiting on a lot of items. Just like every institution in the world is waiting on back-ordered items, we are in that group as well. And so as those products roll in, we will try to get those set up and seamlessly integrated into what you need to do as soon as possible. So just a little bit about Canvas. If you haven't visited your profile in Canvas, make sure you do that and update that. I know that from time to time I'll roll into my profile and be like, oh, my kids are not, 10 and 6 anymore. So you got to update those things. You got a new dog, stuff like that. Canvas Studio, if you haven't used that, it's a great platform integrated right within Canvas for creating videos, uploading previously created videos, and also an underutilized aspect of Studio is your students can create videos and turn in videos for assignments using Studio. So if you want to learn more about that, I'm happy to help. Update your notification settings or just take a look at them. If you don't have the mobile app, as I mentioned previously, you should do that. There's also OneDrive integration into Canvas. So if you store your files in OneDrive, and you should, all of your files will be available to you in Canvas as well. And that goes for your students as well, so they can easily turn in their OneDrive files without ever leaving Canvas. Make sure to keep an eye on grades and feedback and staying up on that. And one thing that I always want to remind you of is Canvas really doesn't break. It's got an uptime of like 99.9%. You might want to let your students know that as well. I do my best to make sure that they know that so they can come up with a better excuse for missing a deadline. And they also have Canvas Tier 1 support available for them too. So if something's broken, your first question should be, well, did you contact Canvas support? So yeah, there you go. There's our Canvas quick hitters right there. Office 365 are the web-based versions of our Office offerings. Outlook and OneDrive obviously being the most popular ones, and also having Word, PowerPoint, Excel for collaborative documents. Students can work on their own, but they can also easily share using Office 365. I know a lot of your students come from area schools that use Google Drive, and that can be a tough sell to use OneDrive and Microsoft. But just know that we, as an IT department and a service desk, support the Microsoft offerings, and we can't give a lot of support in file recovery and things like that if they're using Google Drive. So I definitely encourage you to also encourage your students to use the Microsoft offerings and what we provide, and especially from a security standpoint as well. There's also Teams. You can access Teams via the web. The feature quality from the web-based version of Teams has increased exponentially to the point where like almost all of the features available on the app are also available on the web, provided you're using a browser like Chrome or Microsoft Edge. There are some cool new features to be aware of. A lot of you have noticed that the content sharing screen within a meeting has changed. I think it's important that you're aware of that. It used to be like a bottom tray that opened up. Now it opens up right below the share window. You can choose whether you want to share an entire screen So if you got to share like multiple apps at one time, I would recommend sharing the entire screen. That way, if you have to hop from like a web browser that you're showing your students to a PowerPoint to an Excel spreadsheet, you don't have to share and unshare each time. You just keep dragging those things in. If it's just a specific item that you want to share, like a PowerPoint or maybe like a web resource, then you can go and share a specific window. And then you can also use the cool new PowerPoint Live feature, which brings a lot of the features of PowerPoint presenter mode right into your viewing, but you're only going to be able to share the PowerPoint at the time, which is fine if that's all that you're intending to share. PowerPoint Live also has a lot of cool features like transcription and stuff like that that you might find and your students might find useful as well. Meeting options has changed as well. You can access your meeting options right within a meeting, including the ability to automatically record all future meetings. So if you schedule a channel meeting that's repeating, you go into the meeting options and say record automatically. You don't have to worry about trying to remember to record your meeting each time, which is pretty sweet. You've been waiting for it, and I mentioned it already, but the Canvas and Teams integration is now available in Canvas. All that you have to do as the user is go into each of your courses and go to Settings and go to your Integration tab, and you'll see a Microsoft Sync. When you are ready to get this going, you simply toggle this button on, and it will actually create a course, a team, I should say, right within, well, Teams. And from there, you can set it up, add the content that you want. And when you're ready, you can activate it and you will see all of your different students right within the course. So if I go to Manage Team, you're going to see that my class list is here. And you can see my list has automatically been added. You don't have to worry about adding each individual student. So if I go back to this course, you're going to see it has taken my class list and brought it in. It's really smart too because it takes the student user and makes them just regular participants in the class. Anyone that's listed as a teacher is made into an owner. So you can see Frodo and Tom in here are owners, and Frodo and Tom in here are teachers, just like that. So, and as students are removed from your class via the student information system, it will reflect in your teams as well. So you don't have to go back and forth and do those updates, those syncs. Once you do it manually the first time, and you'll have to do it manually the first time, so settings, integrations, toggle on Microsoft Sync, which you can see mine's already on. And when you're ready for the first time, you just hit sync now, and all future syncs will happen automatically. So very cool new feature that has been brought into it. I mentioned breakout rooms, a few new features on that, so don't forget to hop in there and check that out. And if you want a deeper dive on all these new features, be sure to pencil on your calendar our EdTech Dialect session on August 18 at noon. That'll be a virtual session. I can get you the link if you don't already have it. So a couple other notable hardware, software items. Nearpod's available, awesome tool for feedback and engagement. I can dive into that deeper if you'd like to learn about that. Camtasia is cool if you want to do more robust video recording, editing, things like that. I can show you that. As I mentioned, Canvas Studio is our video platform right within Canvas. It makes it very easy for you to share out videos. I did an EdTech Dialect session on that as well, so I can share out that link so you can take a peek at that. But you can add quizzes to your videos. You can see who's watching your videos and what they're watching, how much of your video they're watching. Another tool is Microsoft Bookings. Bookings allows you to create a sign-up form. So if you want to have students sign up for office hours, you can actually take that bookings calendar, if I can find it here, and drop it right into a module. And you can see right from here, students can sign up for different services, choose the time and date, and just like that, they can sign up. You can also throw this into your teams. So if we go to the general channel, I actually added to this, added a bookings page. And you can see right from here, you see that same thing. It displays awesome in a mobile on a mobile device as well. So if you want to learn more about bookings, I can help you with that. Just a couple other items. As I mentioned, OneDrive is integrated right within Canvas. If I go forward, that's where I was before. And you can see right here in the course navigation, your students have access to this as well, but all of your different files and folders will be available to you right within Canvas if you store your files in OneDrive. As mentioned, if you'd like to use a Surface Pro for inking or just as a computer to use for the term, don't hesitate to reach out. We can get you set up with one of those. But if you let me know sooner, we can most likely get it to you sooner. Couple other items. If you do a textbook integration with Canvas for things like Cengage um, or other similar textbooks, I don't do those integrations, but I'm happy to help the textbook vendor help with the connection on our side. So definitely reach out to your vendor for your textbook if you want to use something like My Lab or My Math Lab or something like that. Blueprint courses are great if you'd like to learn more about those. Hit me up. For those of you that don't know what a blueprint course is, it allows you to create all your content into one like blueprint course that doesn't have students, and then sync it out to the courses that you're teaching that do have students. So it's kind of like a master course. So instead of having to change, if you're teaching multiple courses, instead of having to change it each time in all your different course shells, you change it once in the blueprint course, hit sync, and it syncs out to all of your different courses. If you need help with cross-listing an LOL course, so we're still doing LOL, and you probably see two sections of a course you're offering. One's for the face-to-face, one's for the LOL. A lot of instructors cross-list those courses, which basically means you bring those sections into one. I can help you with that. It takes me like 5 seconds to do it, but make sure you let me know. Canvas Mastery Pass is something that I'm going to be doing an EdTech dialect session on. Just it allows you to create supplemental material in a Canvas course, and then based on what the student scores on that, you can provide them with additional resources right within your modules. So a really cool underutilized tool in Canvas. And so that's pretty much about it. Just a couple other items. You're all set up most likely with self-service password reset and MFA, but please encourage your students to sign up for it as well. I'll include it in the live event that I do with students. So if there's a reason to have your students tune into that, that would be the reason, in addition to other things, of course. But if you do get a new device or have gotten a new mobile device, and you're going to have to talk to the service desk about setting you up with that. Otherwise, you will be locked out. Just a couple other items. Social media. If you want to follow our instructional technology on social media, these QR codes make it very easy for you to hop onto our instructional technology Facebook page and my Twitter page. I share a ton of content on there. I always wonder about what the best way for me to get information to you. Obviously, email's the old standby, but using the social media that a lot of you are on as well is a much less intrusive way. You don't have to like delete emails and stuff like that. Not that that's very difficult. But these are great options for you to stay up on what we got going on. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Here's some additional QR codes for some of the items that I covered. My email address is here. I look forward to this term. There's going to be a lot of hard work coming up here in the month of August and going into the term, but I'm excited for what's going to come of it. So thank you for everything that you do. It's great to work with you, and I look forward to continuing what we have going on. Have a good one.